Today I'm conducting a PLC with my 5th grade teaching team. I have my principal here with me, Mr. Jonathan Williams. I have teaching colleague, Mr. Travis Renfro, Miss Katie Hayes, and I have a high school job shadowing student here with me, Sarah Decker. The table of contents consists of my PLC agenda, the vision statement, the focus problem, the significance of that problem, the strategy that I'm going to implement to combat that problem, the implementation plan, an article, the focus question, and the results and data analysis. My next steps for instruction, the closing, and of course the YouTube link that I'll upload later. The PLC agenda for today is the vision statement, focus problem, the significance of the problem, the strategy, the implementation plan, articles, focus question, results, data analysis steps, the next steps, and then the closing. We'll go through each of these steps today during the PLC. My vision is that all of my colleagues, as well as my students, will feel free to collaborate with one another and feel safe to share the vast riches of knowledge they have for the benefit of themselves and all learners. The focus problem I've identified as being something in my classroom that I've noticed after weeks of reading and observing my students' writing in their journals, the review of their short answer questions, extended written response, and even their on-demand writings. I've noticed a common trend among the students in 5th grade. What I've noticed, and it's really concerning to me, is that they do not exhibit the ability to use correct grammar, capitalization, punctuation, spelling, and they have overall just trouble with making a complete sentence with a subject and a predicate, let alone making any type of complex sentences. So I want to try to implement some strategies or strategy to help just fix this problem. The significance of the problem, as 5th grade students, this is a problem on many levels. The ability to correctly write, to convey one's thoughts, is very important in all writing situations. State testing requires that they be able to write correctly in areas of grammar, usage, and in mechanics. And 5th grade Kentucky State Standards require that they can use correct grammar, usage, and mechanics by the end of 5th grade. So my solution to this problem is I'd like to implement mentor sentences. And this is something that we could do as a 5th grade team. And what I've done up to this point is implement the mentor sentences, and it takes about 15 minutes each day. So you start out on Monday, and basically what you do is a grammar talk. And in this grammar talk, you're going to have your students to look for things like, do they see any figurative language? Do they know what type of parts of speech that they're seeing? Do they know what the predicate versus the subjects are? Can they identify what type of sentence is it? And just things of that nature. On Tuesday, they actually rewrite that mentor sentence that they start with at the beginning of the week, and they label each of the parts of the speech as they go. On Wednesday, they revise the sentence, and they make it more exciting or descriptive by changing some of the nouns or adjectives. On Thursday, they imitate the sentence, building their own sentence using the same structure, but they choose their own words throughout the sentence to make it their own. On Friday, they have a short quiz, which assesses the grammar components for that week. The beautiful thing about it is it scaffolds. So my implementation plan is as follows. First, I administered a baseline assessment to get an idea of how they were going to do with these mentor sentences, to just get an idea, too, of what things they knew and what things they didn't know. I analyzed those results, and then I plan on teaching using the mentor sentences for a week, and then any adjustments that I need to make that I would make at that time in the sentence. And there was an adjustment that I did notice that I had to make. Instead of just using the sentences in their interactive notebooks, I actually had to project those onto the board and let them use a template that I have with that rather than in their interactive notebook. Determine if the strategy is working or not, which is something I did, and the strategy did work, or I have results that prove that it is working. And the 7th step was to implement a strategy number 2 if needed. It was not needed as part of this investigation. I found a couple articles and a blog post that was really beneficial, that has information about mentor sentences and the benefits of it. The benefits of mentor sentences, it can be cross-curricular use with any content area. It can be aligned with other content that you're teaching in your ELA classrooms or other classrooms as well. So some of those articles are Teaching Great Writing, One Sentence at a Time. The blog post is located in the center here. and using mentor text to motivate and support students' writing. And I have found that mentor sentences are a huge motivator. The kids really enjoy it because we start the week out with a book that features that mentor sentence that we pull out of that book. Will implementation of the mentor sentences improve student writing? That was the question I wanted to focus on. After implementing the mentor sentences, the baseline, and my first week assessment, teaching and assessment, these were the results of the data that I collected. The class average for the baseline was 50% using first aid jitters. The class average after week 1 of instruction was 70% using enemy pie. The class average after week 2 instruction was 80% using come on rain. The observations I made in the student journals and other writing tasks also showed signs of improvement. I noticed that my students were capitalizing and punctuating correctly. They were definitely improving in that area. Spelling was still a bit of an issue, but sentence structure was one of the overall things that I noticed that still need to be improved upon. So I feel that at this time, what I need to do is continue the use of this strategy rather than implementation of a second strategy, because the data supports that it is working. Next steps, I will not implement strategy 2. I will continue mentor sentences. I will continue to track the data. I will be more intentional to align with skills of the content that I'm teaching. And I'll talk to 4th grade colleagues in their PLC to encourage them to check out this strategy and possibly implement it in their grade level. And I'll encourage other teams to use this strategy, including mine. In closing, the strategy proved to be a good way to target grammar and usage issues in my students' writing. It was easy to implement, and the kids found it enjoyable. The results were fairly immediate and visible in their writing. This will be something that I will begin using from the beginning of this next school year. I don't want to wait till the end of the year, identifying the problem and starting the usage. Thank you all for participating in my PLC. Are there any questions?
Good job, Mr.